Hello, Shalom. Welcome to day 50 of the Daily Bread. We'll be in Exodus 11, 1 Samuel 11, Psalms 56, Proverbs 19, and starting Luke chapter 1. We'll be out of the scriptures, 2009 version. We'll be reading from Exodus chapter 11 on page 68. And Yahweh said to Moshe, I am bringing you one more plague on Pharaoh and on the Mistrim. And after that, he is going to let you go from here. When he lets you go, he shall drive you out of here from here altogether. Speak now in the hearing of the people, and let every man ask from his neighbor, and every woman from her neighbor, objects of silver and objects of gold. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the eyes of Mistrims, and the man Moshe was very great in a Mistrim in the eyes of Pharaoh's servants and in the eyes of the people. And Moshe said, Thus said Yahweh, about midnight I am going out into the midst of Mistrim, and all the firstborn in the land of Mistrim shall die, from the firstborn of the Pharaoh who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the female servant who is behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of cattle. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Mistrim, such has never been or shall ever be again. But against any of the children of Israel no dog shall move its tongue against man or beast, so that you know that Yahweh makes distinction between Mistrim and Israel. All these servants of yours shall come down to me and bow down to me, saying, Get out, you and all the people at your feet. And after that I shall go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in great displeasure. But Yahweh said to Moshe, Pharaoh is not going to listen to you in order to multiply my wonders in the land of Mistrim. And Moshe and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh. However, Yahweh strengthened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not let the children go out of his land. End of chapter 11. First Samuel chapter 11 on page 290. And Nahash and the Amorite came up and camped against Yahab Gilead, and all the men of Yahabash said to Nahash, Make a covenant with us, and we shall serve you. And Nahash the Amorite answered them, For this I make a covenant with you, that I dig out all your right eyes, and I shall bring reproach on all of Israel. And the elders of Yabash said to him, Leave us alone for 7 days, so that we send messengers to all the borders of Israel. And then, if there is no one to save us, we shall come out to you. And the messengers came to Gilead of Saul, and spoke the words in the hearing of the people. And the people lifted up their voices and wept. And look, Saul was coming behind the herd from the fields, and Saul said, Why are the people weeping? And they related to him the words of the men of Yabash. And the spirit of Elohim came upon Saul, mighty, as he heard these words, and his displeasure burned greatly. And he took a yoke of cattle and cut them in pieces, and sent them throughout all the border of Israel by the hands of the messengers, saying, Whoever does not go out with Saul and Samuel to battle, let this be done to his cattle. And the fear of Yahweh fell on the people, and they came out as one man. And he mustered them in Bezek, and the children of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000. And they said to the messengers who came, Say this to the man of Jabesh Gilead, Tomorrow by the time the sun is hot, you shall have help. Then the messengers came and informed the men of Jabesh, and they rejoiced. So the men of Jabesh said, Tomorrow we come out to you, and you shall do to us whatever seems good to you. And came to be the next day that Saul put the people in 3 companies. And they came up into the midst of the camp in the morning, watched, and struck Ammon until the heat of day. And it came to be that those left were scattered, so that no 2 of them were left together. And the people said to Samuel, Who said shall Saul reign over us? Bring the men, so that we put them to death. But Saul said, No man is put to death this day. For today Yahweh has wrought deliverance in Israel. And Samuel said to the people, Come, let us go to Gilead and renew the reign there. And all the people went to Gilead, and there they set up Saul to reign before Yahweh in Gilead. And there they slaughtered slaughterings of peace offerings before Yahweh, and there Saul rejoiced, and all the men of Israel greatly. Psalms 56. 677, page 677. So, show me favor, O Elohim, for man would swallow me up, fighting all day long. He oppresses me. My enemies would swallow me up all day long. For many are fighting against me, O Most High. In the day I am afraid, I trust in you. In Elohim, whose word I praise, in Elohim I have trusted. I do not fear what could flesh do to me. All day long they twist my words. All their thoughts against me are for evil. They stir up strife, they hide. They watch my steps, and as they lie in wait for my life. Because of wickedness, cast them out. Put them down, the peoples in displeasure, O Elohim. You have counted my wanderings. You have put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book? My enemies turn back in the day I call. This I know, because Elohim is for me. In Elohim, whose word I praise. In Yahweh, whose word I praise. In Elohim I have trusted. I do not fear. What could man do to me? For on me, O Elohim, are your vows. I render praise to you, for you have delivered your life from death, my life from death, my feet from stumbling, that I might walk before Elohim in the living of the light. Proverbs 19, on page 746. Better is the poor walking in his integrity than one of perverse lips who is a fool. Also, desire without knowledge is not good, and he who hurries with his feet sins. The foolish of a man perverts his way, and his heart is wroth against Yahweh. Wealth adds many friends, but the poor is separated from his friend. A false witness does not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies does not escape. Many entreat the favor of the noble, and all are friends to him who give gifts. All the brothers of the poor shall hate him. How much more shall his friends go far from him? He pursues promises, they are good. He who gets the heart loves his own life. He who guards understanding finds good. A false witness does not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies perishes. Luxury is not fitting for a fool, much less for a servant to rule over princes. A man's discretion makes him patient, and his adoring is to pass over a transgression. The sovereign's wrath is like the roaring of a lion, but his delight is like dew on the grass. A foolish son is a calamity to his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dripping. Houses and riches are the inheritance from fathers, but an understanding wife is from Yahweh. Laziness makes one fall into a deep sleep, and an idle being suffers hunger. He who guards the commands guards his life. He who despises his ways dies. He shows favor to the poor. He who shows favor to the poor lends to Yahweh. He who repays his deed, discipline your son, because there is expectation, and do not set your being on his destruction. One of the great wrath bears punishment, for if you rescue him, you don't have to do it again. Listen to counsel and accept discipline, so that you are wise in your latter end. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the counsel of Yahweh that stands. What is desirable in a man is his loving commitment, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of Yahweh leads to life, and he remains satisfied. He is not visited by evil. A lazy one buries his hand in the dish and does not bring it back to his mouth. Strike a scoffer, and the simple is made wise. And reprove one who has understanding, and he discerns knowledge. He who plunders a father chases away his mother. Is a son causing shame and bringing a reproach? Cease, my son, to hear discipline, and you shall stray from the words of knowledge. A witness of Belial scorns right ruling, and the mouth of the wrong one devours wickedness. Judgments are in store for scoffers, and beatings are for the backs of fools. Lucas, or Luke 1, on page 981. Since many have indeed taken in hand to set in order an account for the matters completely confirmed among us, as those who from the beginning were witnesses and servants of the word delivered to us, it seems good to me as well, having followed up all these matters exactly from the beginning, to write to you an orderly account, most excellent Theophilus, that you might know the certainty of the words which you were taught. There was in the days of Herod, the sovereign of Judah, a certain priest named Zechariah, of the division of Abiah, and his wife was the daughter of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before Elohim, blamelessly walking in all the commands and righteousness of Yahweh. And they had no child, because Elizabeth was barren, and both were advanced in years. Seems to be a common theme. And it came to be that while he was serving as priest before Elohim in the order of his division, Zechariah, according to the institute of the priesthood, He was chosen by Lot to burn incense. When he went into the dwelling place of Yahweh, the entire crowd of people was praying outside at the hour of incense. And a messenger of Yahweh appeared to him, standing on the right side of the slaughter place of incense. When Zechariah saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the messenger said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer is heard, and your wife Elizabeth shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name John. And you shall have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth. For he shall be great before Yahweh, and shall drink no wine and strong drink at all. And he shall be filled with the set apart spirit, even from his mother's womb. And he shall turn many of the children of Israel to Yahweh their Elohim. And he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers of the children, Malachi 4:6, and the disobedient of the insight of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for Yahweh. And Zechariah said to the messenger, "By what shall I know this? For I am old, and my wife advanced in years." And the messenger answering said to him, "I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of Elohim, and was sent to speak to you and announce to you this good news. But see, you shall be silent and unable to speak until the day that this takes place, because you did not believe my words, which shall be filled in their appointed time." And the people waited for Zechariah and marveled at his delays in the dwelling place. And when he came out, he was unable to speak to them. And they recognized that he had seen a vision in the dwelling place, for he was beckoning to them and remained dumb. And it came to be, as soon as the days of his service were completed, he went away to his home. And after those days his wife Elizabeth conceived, and she hid herself 5 months, saying, "Yahweh has done this for me, in the days when he looked upon me to take away my reproach among men." In the 6th month, the messenger Gabriel was sent by Elohim to the city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a maiden engaged to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. And the maiden's name was Miriam, or Mary. And the messenger coming to her said, "Greetings, favored one, the master is with you. Blessed are you among women." But she was greatly disturbed at this word, and wondered what kind of greeting this was. And the messenger said to her, "Do not be afraid, Miriam, for you have found favor with Elohim. And see, you shall conceive in your womb, and shall give birth to a son, and call his name Yeshua. He shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Most High, and Yahweh Elohim shall give him the throne of his father David. And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, and there shall be no end to his reign." And Miriam said to the messenger, "How shall this be, since I do not know a man?" And the messenger answering said to her, "The set apart spirit shall come upon you, and the power of the Most High shall overshadow you. And for that reason the set apart one born of you shall be called the Son of Elohim. And see, Elizabeth, your relative, she has also conceived a son in her old age. And this is now the 6th month to her who was called barren, because with Elohim no matter shall be impossible." And Miriam said, See the female servant of Yahweh? Let it be to me according to your word. And the messenger went away from her. And Miriam rose in those days and went to the hill country with haste to a city of Judah, and entered into the house of Zechariah and greeted Elizabeth. And it came to be when Elizabeth heard the greeting of Mary that the baby leaped in her womb. And Elizabeth was filled with the set apart spirit, and called out with a loud voice, and said, Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And who am I that the mother of my master should come to me? For look, when the sound of your greeting came to my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Blessed is she who believed, for that which Yahweh has said to her shall be accomplished. And Mary said, My being makes Yahweh great, and my spirit has rejoiced in Elohim, my Savior, because he looked on the humiliation of his female servant. For look, from now on all generations shall call me blessed. For he who is mighty has done wonders for me, and set apart his name. And his compassion is from generation to generation to those who fear him. Psalms 103, 117. He did mighty with his arm. He scattered the proud with the thought of their hearts. He brought down rulers from their thrones and exalted lowly. He has filled the hungry with good items. Psalms 107:9. And the rich he has sent away empty. He sustained Israel his servant in remembrance of his compassion, and he spoke to our fathers, to Abraham, and to his seed forever. And Miriam stayed with her about 3 months and returned to her home. And the time was filled for Elizabeth to give birth, and she bore a son. And her neighbors and relatives heard how Yahweh had shown great compassion to her, and they rejoiced with her. And it came to be on the 8th day that they came to circumcise the child. And they were calling him by the name of his father Zechariah. And his mother answering said, Not so, but he shall be called John. And they said to her, There is no one among your relatives who is called by this name. Then they motioned to his father what he would like to be called. And having asked for a writing tablet, he wrote, saying, John is his name. And they all marveled. And at once his mouth was opened, and his tongue loosened, and he was speaking, praising Elohim. And fear came on those dwelling around them, and in the matters were spoken, and these matters were spoken of in all the hill country of Judah. And all who heard them kept them in their hearts, saying, What then shall this child be? And the hand of Yahweh was with him. And Zechariah his father was filled with the set apart spirit, and prophesied, saying, Blessed be Yahweh Elohim of Israel. Psalms 41:13. For he did look upon and work redemption for his people. And he raised up a horn of deliverance for us in the house of his servant David, as he spoke by the mouth of his set apart prophets of old. Deliverance from our enemies and from the hand of all those hating us. Psalms 1:6-10. To show compassion toward our fathers, and to remember his set apart covenant, an oath which he swore to our father Abraham, to give to us, being delivered from the hand of our enemies, to serve him without fear, in the set apartness and righteousness before him all the days of his life, of our life. And you, child, shall be called prophet of the Most High, for you shall go before the face of Yahweh to prepare his ways. Malachi 3:1. To give knowledge of deliverance to his people by the forgiveness of their sins, through the tender compassion of our Elohim, with which the daybreak from on high has looked upon us, to give light to those who sit in darkness and shadow of death, guide our feet into the way of peace. And the child grew and became strong in spirit, and was in the desert until the days of showing himself openly to Israel. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible and talk to the Father.